Hello, my name is Tio Saifuddin, and here I will gonna present my capstone project with the topic of telco customer churn. So in here we are going to discuss several things. First, it is the introduction. Then we'll go into the what is the churn rate, and then into the modeling and the final result. So what is we are going to talk about? Uh, in here, we are going to focus on the telco customer company. So, with over 230 million mobile internet users across the country of Indonesia, it is being the largest in Southeast Asia. So, it even contribute over 800 trillion Indonesia into the GDP. So, it is a big company, several big company in Indonesia that compete in this business sector. So what is the churn rate? Churn rate is the percentage of customers that stop using your company product or service during a certain time frame. So it is an article said that the existing customer contribute about 65% total revenue into the company. So it is very important to note that we have to keep this existing customer to keep using our services. Either way, we are going to continue our business. So how to keep these existing customers? There are several campaign that company do, such as customer engagement, feedback, personalized offers, or maybe a discount. This is going the company usually doing this by targeting every of their customers, all of their customers. So it is not efficiently to give a budget into this kind of marketing campaign. So what is the solution for this? Yeah, and then here comes the machine learning role. So before there is machine learning, we are giving all the budget or the cost to service all our customers, so they are not going to churn. But after there is a machine learning or AI, we can predict whether the customer will churn or not. So we can focus on this customer that would likely to churn. So, what is the benefit of using this machine learning? First, it is cost efficiency. Just as I said before, because we are just giving a service into the customer who will likely to churn, so we are efficiently using our budget. And then personalized retention strategies. By knowing that the customer is going to return and we have the data of them, we can see their attributes, and then we can make a personalized strategies to give them to keep them in using our services. And then the third is enhance customer experience. By knowing what their problem is, by looking at the data, we know that what we have to do to solve their problem that maybe make them feel not good using our service. So for the evaluation metric in this project is going to be F2 score. So first, let's take a look at this matrix over here. So there is for the false positive is happening when we predict a customer, which is we predict it is a churn, but actually it is not a churn. So it is wasting our budget on customer who is not a churn. And then for the false negative, it is happening when we predict the customers uh, will stay, but actually they are going to churn. So for this problem, we are going to focus on the false negative. We are going to make this value as low as possible. And to accommodate the false positive, we are going to use the F2 score because in here, as you can see in this F2 score, for the precision, it is going to be uh, one half of the recall. So we are going to more focus on the recall, but we are still accommodating the precision. Okay, so there is a CLV or a CAC, which stand for the customer lifetime value, and then CAC for customer acquisition cost. So usually the company have to pay more in the CAC rather than keeping their customer and improving their CLV. So it is very important to detect the false negative in this kind of project. So for the data set in here, we are having a total of almost 5,000 rows and 11 columns with the target variable of course, a churn. And then there are eight feature of qualitative, or we can say it categorical features, and two features of quantitative, or we usually call it the numerical features. You can see from the picture in the left that for the categorical features, there is just two or three unique observation. And for the uh, numerical, there is two, as stated before. Okay. And then for the data cleansing process, in here we have four. For the duplication, we are spotted 77 observation, and it is just about 1.56% of total observation. So we can just drop that duplication value. And then for the missing values, there is no missing value and there is no negative values. And for the outliers, here I'm checking on the numerical features. So as you can see in this box plot, there is no outlier. So we are not going to do any action on this outlier on this column. And then for the EDA, first, the data is having an imbalanced data set. So it is just, the proportion is about one against 3. So it is an imbalanced data set. So we have to do something just like resampling to make a better machine learning model. And then for the qualitative features in here, first, the interesting fact is that for the add-on service, just like online security, online backup, internet service, and the device protection and then tech support, we can see that for customers that having this value as yes, it is having probably doesn't churn, as you can look at this. But if that person is not having this add-on service, they are likely to churn. You can look at the other column for this. Let's take a look at this online backup. So if they are having the online backup service, they are not likely to churn. But if they not having this service, they are likely to churn. Okay. And then for the numerical features, I compare it into the target variable. Look at this KDE plot. You can look for the churning customers. They are crowded in the low tenure with high monthly charges, as this red circles showing us. And then for the customers that is not churn, they are typically customers that having a low tenure with low monthly charges. And then there is a group of customers which is not churn. They are having a high tenure, but they are also have the high monthly charges. So this is very important to know that the customers uh, will likely to churn if they are having a high monthly charges in their initial join on the company. And this histogram plot shows the same things. Yeah, you can take a look. When the monthly charges going up, it is most likely the customers will churn. And then for the tenure, if the tenure is pretty low, they are will likely to churn. And then for the data preprocessing, there is several steps. From here, there is an encoding. For the encoding, here I will just do the one-hot encoder for every categorical features, and then feature selection. I'm using Chi-square and F-test, and then I'm doing the trend test splitting, and then resampling using the random undersampler. And for the scaling, I'm going to use min-max scalar because it is we just have two numerical variable without outliers. And then for the modeling, for the algorithm, in here there are three top model, which is SGD, naive Bayes, Gaussian, and adaptive boost. And then after I'm doing the parameter tuning, I know that the best model is the SGD before the tuning. And then for the SGD, for here we can take a look at the feature importance of the coefficient. So for example, if the monthly charges is very high, the customer most likely will churn because it is very high magnitude. And then for the negative, just like this tenure, it means that when the tenure is very high, the customers won't likely to churn. So it is inversible from the positive. And for this, the contract 2 year, contract 1 year. So if the customers is having a contract of 1 or 2 years, the customer will not likely to churn. This one is very important. And then for the model interpretation for the SGD, so it is stochastic gradient descent. This method is will try to find the local optimum or the best loss value, the lowest loss value. And then for the default SGD classifier, it is using the Hing loss, or it is using the SVM linear. So its SVM is just like separating two categories using a single line, like here, like the picture shows. So for the final result is that first we are calculating the cost efficiency. So before implementing the ML, we got a cost of 13,000 US dollar. And after we implement the machine learning, we cut the cost to the 6,000. So which is almost half of the original number, with a drawback of revenue loss, with just a little number, there is 2,330 US dollar. So after implementing the ML model, we have a better use of the budget, so we can cut the budget. So this is will efficiently will make the budget of us being more efficient. And then for the conclusion, first, by implementing the ML prediction model, the company can cut half of their cost, from 13,000 to 6,000 with exchange of 2,000 revenue loss. Second, customer who doesn't take add-on service are most likely to churn. And third, customers who take month-to-month contract are most likely to churn. So this is very important. And then four, customer having a low tenure with a high charge, highly monthly charge, are most likely to churn. And then customers whose tenure is low and monthly charge is low, they are more likely to not churn. And inversely, when the customers are having a high tenure, which also having the high monthly charge, they are most likely to not churn. So you this is very important for the stakeholder to know this fact. And then for the recommendation, first recommend that add-on service to the customers, as the we know from the EDA before, if the user using our services, using our add-on services, they are not likely to churn. And then the second, try to convince the customers to take on 1 or 2 years contract rather than the month-to-month. As we can see from the feature coefficient before. Yeah. Feature importance of the coefficient. The customers who having the 1 or 2 year, they are most likely to not churn. And then give a special treatment for the new customers. Okay, let's jump into the cloud. So in here, I already clone my GitHub repo. So first, we have to move into the project location. In here, I'm using the DTIDS. And then after that, we have to create a Conda environment, just like Conda create strip and the environment name, like this. But I already create my environment. Let's see Conda environment list. As you can as you can see, I have several environment. So in here, I'm using the telco churn. Yeah, to activate it, we can run it by conda activate telco churn. Okay. After that, we have to install the requirement. In here, the requirement.txt. You can do it by running the command of pip install strip r requirements.txt. Because I already run this code, so I don't have to run it twice because it takes several times. And then after you do all of this requirement, you can go into the deployment.ipynb. Okay, we can jump into this notebook, running the first line to import the libraries. First, let's choose our kernel, Python environment, and then telco churn, and then running the code one by one. And here we need to specify our project ID, dataset ID, table ID, region, and bucket name. It is corresponding to the BigQuery. So I already import my dataset into the BigQuery. Okay, let's while we wait, we can jump into the BigQuery first. In here, I already import my dataset, which is called telco churn test. In here, we are going to predict this dataset using the Cloud Shell. Okay, run, and then I run this configuration file. Configuration, and after that, here I load the data test from the BigQuery, which I shown before, this dataset. Okay, I run this code. This loading the data frame from the BigQuery. And after that, I already dump our model, my model in here, in this folder, yeah, models. Here, pipeline model. So I already dumped from the notebook. I'll show you the dumping. Okay, you can see at this line of code. Here I dump my pipeline model final, which is this object, and then I load it into the Google Cloud. Yeah, here it's already loaded. It is the same object as I shown before in the local notebook. And then in here, I'll try to predict two type of prediction. First, it is a real-time prediction. So I just inputting two observation, yeah, for the negative or false prediction. I'm sorry, false, yeah, not churn. And then for the churn, here I run this code. So here I make a data frame, and let's try to predict that observation. Okay, no, load first. I think I forget that step. Okay. Okay, wow, from here we can see that from the data above, when the tenure is high, they are most likely to not churn. But when the tenure is low, they are most likely to churn. Yeah, so the tenure is having a high impact. In here you can see that I put a same value on the other features, yeah, except for the tenure. And then for the batch prediction, here I'll predict the test data from the BigQuery. And here, and I append into the data frame, yeah, for with a name, the column name of churn pred. And then in here, I'm going to load this result to the BigQuery. So our stakeholders can have the dataset with predicted labels after I'm making the prediction of this. Okay, let's wait for time. Okay, it's done. Let's take a look at the BigQuery from here. Okay, just take a look. It is have a appendix of pred. Take a look. Nah, this one. Okay, let's see a preview of the data. So it is having a label prediction. I think that's for my presentation. Thank you.